Hey everybody, this is Alex Big Blue. Today I've got a contest entry for my brother's contest, which is Spidercomics7. So basically, he wants you to be over 18 and from America, of course, which I am both. And he wants you to be subbed to him, and he wants you to make a video entry. So just keep all that in mind if you want to do it. He's got some really cool prizes in the 7th book. He's going to tailor to your particular likings if you win, so that's really awesome as well. But yeah, it's a really fun contest to enter anyway. It's pretty easy. What he wants you to do is tell your favorite Marvel superhero, supervillain, and anti-hero, and then also the same but for DC. So yeah, and he wants you to show a book if you have one to represent them, and whether it be their first appearance or just a book with them on it. If you have it, and explain why is also preferred, but you don't have to do that, he said. So yeah, anyways, so without further ado, I'm going to start off with Spider-Geddon number 1. My favorite Marvel superhero is Spider-Man, although it's very close with Captain America, I might add, but regardless. Yeah, my favorite superhero, Spider-Man. Some of the reasons, I think, is his costume is amazing, one of the all-time best costumes for sure. I think his powers are just really cool. I mean, whether it be the wall crawling, the spider sense, of course the fact that he figured out how to shoot webs after making that, of course, and web slinging is all really interesting to start with, but I think especially, like a lot of people have said before, I will say again, I guess, I think that his relatability to normal humans, where he's always got problems, something's always going wrong, really makes him interesting, and his stories really flows well for that. And he's usually got really good books and good reads too. So yeah, Spider-Man, my favorite superhero. Really awesome character. All-time great, of course. My favorite Marvel supervillain is Mr. Sinister. And this is the first appearance of Mr. Sinister, the Uncanny X-Men, number 221. Yeah, Mr. Sinister, ever since I watched the X-Men cartoon in the 90s, Mr. Sinister is just always a really cool character. He just looks cool. He's got cool powers. He's kind of like a, I don't know, kind of almost like a weird, just kind of almost like a monster or something. But he's really intelligent, and he also has a really interesting backstory. If you don't know what it is, I definitely recommend checking that out at some point. Just a really cool character, and whenever he shows up in the cartoon or in comics, I was always really excited. Yeah, just a great character. And of course, as probably everybody expected if you watch my videos, my favorite anti-hero is Venom. So I got Venom the Lethal Protector number 5 here. Really cool cover. I don't show this one off as much as some of the other ones, so I thought I'd show that. Yeah, it's a really cool book too if you get a chance to pick it up. It's a cool series. Venom's just a great character. I love how he has his own set of morals, that he tries to be good, even though he does way more violent things at times than he should do. And he's not always exactly like a hero should be, but to say the least, maybe sometimes. But he really does, relatively speaking, try to do good and help out a lot, even if he does it with very physical violence. He's just a really cool character. Probably, I think that's what probably first drew me to him when I watched the cartoon when I was a kid. And then in comics too, just really cool look to the character. And then after that, his power set, the fact that he's the dark mirror to Spider-Man. And like I said, I think once he became an anti-hero is when I really started liking him, especially even. I always liked him as a villain anyways, but once I started seeing him in books as the anti-hero, I really dug the character even more, and that's when he became a favorite, especially, I would say. Just really cool though. And all right, now for my DC choices. My favorite DC superhero, although I had to think between Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, and him, my favorite superhero, Batman, in DC at least. I've got Batman and the Outsiders number 1 to represent this. Batman is just, I think, besides the fact he's a cool character and he's got a lot of cool gadgets and smart and great detective and all of those things, which makes him cool anyways on his own, I think the thing that especially sets him apart for me and kind of solidifies you as a favorite DC superhero, at least for the time being. Of course, it could always change, but I would have to say is his books. His stories are always, at least all the ones I've read, are always really compelling and just really interesting and really readable. And I think to have a character like him that's kind of grounded, although he can do a lot of outlandish things at times, in the middle of those stories, and he's supposed to be a normal human, I think his really interesting stories really sets him apart. I just really like reading Batman stories, so yeah, really cool character. All right, and now for my favorite DC supervillain. I had to think about this one for a little bit, as did I with my anti-heroes. But I think I come up with my choices here, and I'm pretty happy with them, quite frankly. My favorite DC supervillain is Hawkman. Obviously, that's a joke, but I thought it was funny if anybody believed it. Just was wondering. But yeah, anyways, my favorite DC villain is the Scarecrow. Really cool, by the way, with that outline of him in this book. I like the way that looks. The Scarecrow was just one of those characters that I always thought was really cool in the 90s cartoon. The design on there, we look like just a typical kind of creepy Scarecrow character. And then on the Batman games, I don't know if you played those or not. What is the series? I'm forgetting the name of the series. The Arkham Asylum series. He's always he's always the coolest parts in those when he starts randomly affecting you as Batman, and it goes into like a weird nightmare realm looking scenes and stuff. Yeah, he's just a really cool character, and I always like it when he shows up and stuff. He's pretty cool in the comics as well, and interesting when he shows up. I always like reading him. So yeah, Scarecrow is a really cool character, and I think, as I just found out recently, that is my favorite DC supervillain. Although the Joker is pretty close to that too. It's probably kind of two sides of a coin, honestly. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to say Scarecrow. Okay, and then finally, my favorite DC antihero, the Red Hood. So this one took me a little bit to figure out who the antihero would be, but when I thought about it, I watched Batman Under the Red Hood, the movie. And since then, I figured, I found out about the character and all that stuff, and I saw him appear in other things, and I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, that's my favorite one. He's just a really cool character. I like his origin and his reasoning. I just think he's a really cool character, and so I need to start reading more of his stories as well. But yeah, really cool contest Spidercomics7 has going on. I definitely suggest you guys check it out and enter it if you want to. All right, this is Alex McBlue. I'll see you guys later.